I'm Rabbi Dr. Dovid Fox, Director of High Lifeline's Crisis and Trauma Services. The horrifying events that we are learning about taking place in communities in Europe and elsewhere from a mental health perspective require a response. Our Torah leaders will provide important hashkafic guidelines, and concurrently, it's important to take a look at the impact this has on ourselves, our children, and on the older generation. We recently read the pasuk Vehem tuku l'raglechem v'zos habracha, on which the Chizkuni responds and explains that this means bishvilcha ubishvil hamitzvos hem mukim umudukayim, that because Jews are Jews and they're subservient to God and they're performing his mitzvahs, the rest of the world attacks us and pursues us and causes pain and misery. And from a mental health perspective, it's very important that we be aware that it's normal to have worried, fearful, anxious, and very sad reactions. The older generation may respond by saying, we've seen this before, we know about this, and for some, that's the way they cope. And for others, this is a definite trigger, bringing them back to what may have been dormant fears from decades past. This is not the attitude, however, that we want to present to our children, who are going to have reactions. Those who are exposed to digital media, unfortunately, see horrifying scenes, and it's not wise to expose them to this. And those who don't see the digital horrors are nonetheless hearing from other sources about what's going on, whether we call them pogroms or assaults or other acts of violence. It's important that we acknowledge for ourselves that this hurts. This does cause anxiety and worry. This deeply saddens and scares us. And certainly this is the impact that horrible news has on our children. Self-awareness is the place we begin. Identify what we think, what we feel, how we're responding inside of ourselves, and turn to a supportive other to talk it through. And do the same with your children. Prompt them to talk about what they've heard, what they're thinking about this, in ways that it's affecting them either in their conduct or their avoidance or their withdrawal or their hurt or their confusion or their anger. But give them that freedom and that forum to talk about their reactions. Don't listen critically. Don't listen judgmentally. Listen with validation and support before jumping to the next necessary step, which is to give them the reassurance of our bitachon, our hope, and our faith for better times. They will come. We read in the Hoshanas, Om Ani Choma, which is replete with examples, every Hoshana Rabbah, every Sukkos, about the many, many downs and the occasional ups that occur to Klal Yisrael, especially in Galus. And this is part of the message of Vehem tuku l'raglecha, that being Jewish, V'kol dor v'dor omdim aleinu l'kaloseinu. And we have to explain to our children that HaKadosh Baruch Hu matzilenu miyadam, HaKadosh Baruch Hu saves us every time. But we give that reassurance and we instill that hope and we give them messages of faith after we've given them an opportunity to know that we hear, we care, we listen to what they're going through. It's normal to react. It's not particularly normal to have no reaction at all. We don't want to give the message to our children from a mental health perspective that they should have no feelings or thoughts or worries. This is an Eitzor Yaakov, and we know, many of B'Sheya, we will be redeemed from this B'Korov. But listen, love your children, stay close with them, be a supportive resource for them, accompanying them through this rough time, and then allowing them to imbibe your own faith and your own bitachon. Give them messages of hope. Give them reassurance. Give them time and love and patience.